Getting into the zone. You know, a lot of salespeople, I think, and sales managers don't think about getting into the zone in sales. They think about it with sports and everything else, but I believe in sales, there's a zone we get into. I think all of us in sales have felt it where you got done with that thing, that sale went perfect, you closed the deal, and you just were euphoric, right? And you know, the old saying is when you close the deal, what's the first thing you should be doing? Go calling on more people because you're in the zone. That's why that saying has always come true. When you make a sale and you're feeling good, go back and start knocking on more doors because you're in the zone. A lot of people think, well, like golfing, you're in the zone. But I want you to think about being in the zone. I'm a golfer. I love to golf. And I go out there for 4 hours and play golf, hopefully 3 hours and 30 minutes. But it takes me a while to get in the zone. I get on a driving range and I practice my putting, trying to get my mind synced up with what's going on, with conditions, the wind, the moisture on the ground, how I'm hitting that ball that day. I'm trying to get myself into the zone. And I think that in sales, we don't do that enough. And I wanted to figure out why. And I think one of the reasons why we don't get in the zone like we used to, and it's so hard for us to get in the zone, is we get a lot of things stealing our time. I mean, your phone. How often do you look at your phone a day? Now, some of you people that are young always looked at your phone, but people my age, do you remember when you never had a cell phone? My kids used to laugh at me because I always called it a car phone because I never took it out of the car, even when it was a car phone. But now, we, myself included, we're looking at our phones all the time. We're looking at our emails. How many times are you looking at emails a day? How many emails do you get? Average, I think, human being gets 200 a day. I can't tell you how many I get. And you're sitting at your desk, or even if you're coming in from a sales call, sit down and you hear, you got mail, ding, another email, ding, another email. It's demanding you look over there. And so I think that pulls us out of the zone. Because if you think about it, I'm thinking about maybe a proposal or maybe a presentation, and I'm starting to get in the zone, and all of a sudden my phone dings and I look at it, or my email dings and I look at it, pulls me out of the zone. My head now goes over here. And to get back to the zone, it's going to take me 10, 15 minutes at least. So now you think about it. In 1 hour time, if you check your phone twice and your emails twice, you're never going to be in the zone when you get back to that presentation you're putting together or something you're doing. So I think that's your biggest problem with getting out of the zone and not being able to get into it. Today's world, finding it very hard to get into it. And what it does to you is just distracts you, makes the sales cycle, I think, a lot longer, makes you putting together things a lot harder and tougher. If you're a sales manager, it really hurts your salespeople because maybe you yourself pull them out of the zone by interrupting them or texting them or emailing them. So there's a lot of ways I think that we get hurt and pulled out of the zone. So what are we going to do to change that? And by the way, I'm not saying turn off your phones. I'm not saying don't check your emails. You're going to have to do that. But interesting, I'm on a plane normally about once a week, once every other week. And when I'm on that plane, I'm in the zone. I don't have emails. I don't have texts. I can't make phone calls. But I can get on my computer and work on things. And it thinks things go so much smoother. If I'm on a 2 hour, 3 hour flight, I got a week of work's done, knocked out. Because it takes me maybe 10, 15 minutes when that flight starts to take off where I start working, and it's a struggle to start. But after a while, I get in the zone. So I want you to have that airplane feeling when you need to be in the zone, when that time is right. There's a couple things I would suggest doing. Number one, blocking out time of the day. So if you want 1 hour a day of zone time, then put on your calendar, whatever hour that is, between 1 and 2, between 3 and 4, between 10 and 11, is an appointment with yourself. See, I think most people use Outlook and make appointments with other people, but that's only the halfway to use Outlook or any calendar. You need to make an appointment with yourself. You are more important an appointment than any of your customers. I mean, think about it. You're all different. Maybe you sell $2 million a year and a customer is worth 200,000. Well, you're worth $2 million. Customer's worth 200,000. If you made an appointment with yourself, that's more important than the customer. I mean, think about it. If you had an appointment with a $2 million prospect and a $200,000 customer called you and said, I want to meet with you while you're having that meeting with the $2 million prospect, what would you say? You'd probably say, can I call you a different time? So same thing I want you to think about doing. How much you are worth, block it out on the calendar, and that's your zone time. Use it to whatever you want. Use it to prospect. Use it to do presentations. Use it to prep yourself to get ready for that big proposal. But create zone time for yourself and do a time block. And by the way, if you got an airplane for 3 hours and wasn't able to call somebody back for 3 hours, they're not going to yell at you. So if you block out an hour and don't call somebody back, that goes in a voicemail, no big deal. Now during that block time, you got to turn off your computer or turn off your email. You got to turn off your phone, all right? And one other thing you can do, which I love doing, is put a sign on your cubicle or a sign on your door saying, do not bother me between 1 and 2. I'm ensuring the future of your job at this company. Because that's what we do in sales, right? We ensure the future. So that's one thing I'd like you to do. And one other thing I think that might add, and this came from one of my clients. This client made about $300,000-$400,000 a year simply by sitting on that phone and dialing that phone and talking to customers. Guy never went out of doors. And one thing he told me is when he was ready to get in the zone, he needed alone time. And what he meant by alone time is he just needed to calm down. And what he used to do is he used to get out of his office and walk around the block for an hour and just think. Some 20 minutes, 15-minute alone time, come back in, shut the door, turn off email, and got into the zone. So a couple things you might think about. Maybe it's a cup of coffee at La Madeleine before you get into zone time. Maybe you're going to do your zone time at La Madeleine. Sit down, relax, have a cup of coffee, and just think, and then get into zone time. So, are you ready to get in the zone?